Okay, and 3, 2, 1. You are about to witness a miracle in modern broadcasting. I am Jared Copeland, and I decided I was going to name the podcast "Good Morning Copeland" after myself and my family name. So it kind of sounds like I'm saying "Good morning" to myself when it's like if your last name's Smith and you name your show "Good Morning Smith," it sounds like you're kind of addressing yourself. But just Copeland. It's my name. I just like my name. Um, all right. So first episode is up. It went okay. I'm a little bit short of 1 million viewers, so just keep up the spreading the word. And yeah. Anyway, I need 1 million viewers. So let's see. Today, when I'm recording this, I don't have a studio yet, which is why I need 1 million viewers. And my neighbors are next door, and they decided, it's December, so what do we need? Oh, I know, we need a swimming pool in our backyard. So there's all these construction crews right now that are backing. I hear the beeping and the heavy machinery, and they apparently need a swimming pool more than I need my money. So, but we can make do. First episode jitters, as they say. No, actually, it's the second. But we're still finding our footing. We're gonna do this together. So, everyone put your hand together. Put your hand in the circle, and we'll say team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. I know that you guys all did that with me. So, anyway, my list. Fucking shit. Sorry. I should watch my language. I'm gonna try talking a little bit louder. Today, as I'm recording this, is December 19th. So last night, President of the United States. Oh, fucking shut up. President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, was impeached for. He was impeached. So I decided. I went through the list of all the presidents because it's very interesting when you look at history, and I made my own history list. And this history list today, hopefully you guys can play it. If you're a high school teacher for government, hopefully you can play it and educate them along. This is my list for the top 10 presidents that have been impeached. So moving on to our first president, and the first president on the list, not necessarily George Washington, but the first president. Number 10 is Barack Obama. So hold on. Okay, that feels better. Moving on to number 10. Okay. So Barack Obama was the 40s. He was the president of the United States from 2000. He was until Donald Trump took over, and so he had a lot of stuff under his belt. Okay, so let me research who this guy was really quickly. Oh, okay, I recognize his face now. Okay, so he invented Obamacare. That's where it gets its name from, and that's why he was impeached, was because of Obamacare. So, back when I was in high school was when, this whole ordeal was happening. So, some people apparently didn't want health care, and some people apparently did want health care. So, what happened was Obama apparently illegally created Obamacare, or it passed illegally. I don't remember. I just remember people at my school were saying that it was a crime that infringed on their rights or something. But whatever the case was for Obamacare, apparently people were very upset. So I don't know if, Jesus Christ, can't be any fucking louder. I don't know if he necessarily went up to all the individual voters and said stuff like, vote for Obamacare or I'm gonna cut your throat. I'm not advocating that. Can you guys hear me? It's really loud out there. Anyway, And maybe he just passed it illegally. Like he said, guys, look over there. I'm gonna create a distraction, and then like he kills Osama bin Laden, and then right as that happens, he passes Obamacare. So like I don't know if that's how he got found out, but so Obama then was impeached, but that. Anyway, moving on to number 9 is George Bush, the Big Bush, George H.W. Bush. So he was president after Reagan. I remember that. I wasn't alive, but I remember that. And he was also vice president for Ronald Reagan. And then Ronald Reagan, I don't remember if he died in office or just left, but then George H.W. took over. And from what I remember, he started off doing just fine. I wasn't alive, but from what I assume. And then, for whatever reason, he completely 180'd on his attitude. And just, it's like the TV show Jackass. So, like a bunch of juveniles doing stupid things for views or for attention. And that's exactly what he did, because at some point he went to Japan and then just decided to throw up on people. And that, like I said, that's juvenile. Why would you do that? And they agreed with me. The Senate, or no, I mean they don't agree with like after the fact. I mean, I'm not doing a good job explaining. So the way I feel right now is the way that they felt back then. They thought you shouldn't be throwing up on the professionals, or or just Japanese in general. So HW, he got the impeachment, and then he had to leave. He had to leave the office because I assume he realized the mistake of his ways, and so he left. And then Bill Clinton came after him. He took over, and then his presidency was, uneventful. So moving on to number 10, Barack Obama. Number 9, George H.W. Bush. Number 8, the number 8 most impeached, or the most famous impeached, whatever. Number 8 is Jimmy Carter, and Jimmy Carter had a brother named Billy Beer. He had a president, Billy Bush. So, Billy Carter. I wrote down on my notes Jimmy Carter and Billy Beer, but I didn't really elaborate on it, so I'm just going to connect the dots as I go along, because it's going to waste time if I just try to research it right now, but, it'd help it. Jimmy Carter, hold on, I have to burp. Oh, I just puked a little. So, Jimmy Carter was in the office, and his brother said, "Hey, Jimmy, I need to make beer." And Jimmy Carter said, "Go for it." I really don't know how that's illegal. And I do have an idea, though. So, I know there was the Prohibition, and maybe there was like a second Prohibition, and like a second one in the 60s or whenever. And that's the only thing I could kind of reason why that would happen. So I'm just gonna assume that Billy Bush, or Billy Beer or whatever, he was just kind of bootlegging it. And odds are, the president Jimmy Carter, the corrupt man he was probably swigging a few of these Billy Beers as the presidency went along. And I really don't know if there was a prohibition. I'm really confused, but I'm just letting you know, I wrote down Jimmy Carter for Billy Beer, and I have no idea why I wrote that down. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm probably just gonna re-edit it, and maybe you'll find reason in my words. So I'll move on to number 10, Barack Obama. 9, George H.W. The next one is Jimmy Carter, and then after 7, number 7 is George Washington, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, or just everyone. I'm inclusive, everyone. So, George Washington was the man who discovered America, and so before we had presidents, we had kings, queens, maybe dictators. I don't know. So we had like the kings and queens, and George Washington. At some point, he stepped in and took command. For all I know, he probably defeated the king before, and then he decided to rebrand the word king as president, which a little bit less formal, but anyway, so he's here because he set a precedent. The president set a precedent. So somebody messaged me saying that I need to be funnier, and so that's maybe I should try laughing. So I'm gonna try laughing more as well, and that'll probably make me seem a little bit more human. George Washington, anyway. Fucking shit! Won't they shut the fuck up? I'm here, just in my little room. That's not soundproof or anything, but they don't have any fucking consideration that what if someone's in the room, next to the place that we're trying to dig this cement hole. Hold on. Oh god, I keep burping. So, like, what the fuck is their deal? I don't know why. It's like they're doing it to piss me off. So, George Washington, I don't know why he got kicked out of office after 8 years. As I'm thinking, I'm literally thinking, and I just remembered as I'm thinking, you know how like Kevin Hart was supposed to host the Oscars, but then they found out that he hates gay people, and they dug up old tweets, kind of like when Joss Whedon or the guy who's supposed to direct that Avengers movie or whatever, he apparently had that weird past on Twitter, and they said, we don't want you directing this movie because of what you said in the past. I'm thinking that was probably the case for George Washington, because if you've read the history books, or you've ever done like a history report, then you remember George Washington once said, "I did not cut down the cherry tree." And so, and for those of you who remember, it was a lie. He did cut down the cherry tree. And kind of like with today's times, someone probably dug up this information, probably sold it to the media, and that's probably when it exploded. And they said, well, if he lied about cutting down this cherry tree, then he probably lies about how he spends the government money, and he probably lies about his wife, and he probably has kids somewhere else. So that's when they decided to and they impeached him. Presidency ended after 8 years, and they said it's too risky to have another king, especially after King GW, or not GW, King George Washington, not to be confused with George W or HW. So the king, long live the king, viva la vida, said Coldplay, and they didn't say it about Washington, but that's just the way that kings go. So they decided to use the new form of government called presidency, and George Washington said aloha. And Jesus Christ, I don't know if you guys can hear, it just sounds like they're shaking a goddamn baby in a blender or something. Anyway, moving on. If you have kids that listen to this, I'm sorry. I do apologize. If you are a kid listening to this, I apologize. This is just adulthood. When you're a grown up, you'll run into cab drivers that tell you to go fuck yourself, kind of like that happened to me when I went to New York last year. But you just learn to deal with it, and it's life. So me telling these construction workers to go fuck themselves because they're being obnoxious, they're not catcalling or anything. That then I'd probably give them a piece of my mind. Oh god, I keep burping. So yeah, if you're a kid, if you're a kid, well, thank you for listening because you're learning about American history, and that's what you need to know because moving on to the next one. So 10, Obama, 9, 8, 7. Okay, number 6 is, I'm going to do a drum roll. Oh, shit, almost knocked it over. Okay, number 10, 6 is Donald Trump. That's right, folks. The current president of the United States, who was impeached yesterday, is the number 6 most impeached, or not most, the number 6 top in whatever, the number 6 on the list. And I'm not a political person. I'm not going to tell you my views. I'm not going to tell you to go vote for Tom Arnold. But anyway, I what I can do, I can do my predictions. I can be like a bookie, giving you sports bets. And let me tell you what my bet is, and if you believe in me, tell your friends to put money on it. Should I be talking closer to the mic or talking louder? Because this noise in the background is driving me nuts. Anyway, so... Oh, okay, no, I should not. That was not a good idea to be so close. I'll be back here. Anyway, so I bet, this is my prediction, that Donald Trump will be... He already was impeached. I was going to say he will... No, so he will be... What the fuck am I saying? He was impeached, and I bet he will be removed. That's what I was trying to say. And I bet even further, after he is removed, that it's going to be so scandalous that they're going to relocate Washington, D.C. Okay, that's like, why would you possibly think that? But, it's kind of like when they relocate sports teams. They don't do it because a sports team has scandal. They do it to rebrand it. Kind of like in football, the way that they rebranded the Lakers. The Lakers aren't a football team, but they're from Michigan, and then they were moved to California where there are no lakes. So they might. I'm assuming they're gonna move Washington D.C. to somewhere that that needs a makeover. So like Iowa, Nebraska, just in the Midwest, because that'd make it so much more interesting. Because otherwise it's just like miles of dirt. Oh God. Jesus. So, and if you had the White House, in all these miles of dirt, it'd encourage more houses to be built, and then Iowa would be less of a shithole. If you live in Iowa, and no offense, none at all, just or they could also try to glamorize Washington D.C. Maybe they might move it to somewhere like Hollywood, and they'll try to put it in Tinseltown and on like the Hollywood Hills, and the White House will suddenly be in Bel Air, and for all we know, they might start like a Washington D.C. official film company, and they'll try to make the politics cool, and do like the remake of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and have politicians, and I'm kind of talking out my ass. So yeah, they should. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying I predict they're going to relocate Washington, D.C. because of the scandal. Just impeachment in itself, you can't trust anyone when they're impeached. But like, if you watched my previous episode, I have nothing against Donald Trump. This is probably, I'm putting on the list because my list is also based on what the audience wants, by popular demand. Because, I'm a man of the people, kind of like Mao Zedong. So, anyway, Donald Trump impeached, number 6. Okay, moving on. So 10, Barack Obama, 9, George W., 9, Jimmy Carter, 7, 6. 5 is, I'm going to do a drum roll on my chest. Number 5 is Harvey Weinstein. So I had to kind of change the definition of of president, because Weinstein was the president of Miramax and the Weinstein movie brothers or whatever. Hold on. I keep burping. It's annoying. And then the fucking annoying construction workers outside just can't get a fucking clue that there's this podcast going on next door. So anyway, Harvey Weinstein is just a scumbag. And it's a good thing he got impeached. It's a good thing he started the Me Too movement. And, it shows that Hollywood, it should just not be so elite. Oh, God. So I'm reading the list. And I realized that I said that Washington, D.C. should be relocated to Hollywood. And, if people like Harvey Weinstein are out there and, just being corrupt, then it kind of throws some shade because if Washington, D.C. moves to Hollywood and then they become corrupted by Hollywood, then that'll just make them more corrupt. I think that if Washington, D.C. does move to Hollywood, they should try to root out corruption in Hollywood, because that way you can get like Adam Sandler movies that aren't exclusively on Netflix, and he can go back to being like in studio movies. Because just it's stuff like that. It just really drives me up a wall. So Harvey Weinstein, I hope he already was impeached and he was removed from his office. So shame on you. Look at what you've done to America. Anyway, moving on to number 4, Pope Benedict. So I'm not Catholic. I'm not religious. But I do know that the Pope was in office, or I don't know what it's called when a Pope is in charge. He was Pope. That's all you need to know. And he was. You see, he was the Pope. And then they found out, he was like having sex parties or something. And, where does it say in the Catholic Bible that you can have sex with people? Or does it? I don't know. So, anyway. No, if you're Catholic, by the way, I respect you. I respect everyone. I'm not Scientologists, but, everyone else. Yeah, so just not saying. But anyway, because I like Pope Francis. I hope he does not get impeached, because he seems like he could be on Time Magazine's 100 Sexiest People list. And I hope he is. I hope he wins it. He deserves it. And Pope Benedict. So he looks like Palpatine. And that's the first clue that you should not trust this guy, let alone don't trust him to run a daycare center. And so he was in the popehood, head of the president of the popes, and then I don't know. I saw the movie Spotlight. I know all about movies, so a lot of my history comes from movies too. I don't really pay a lot of attention during the movies, but so I saw Spotlight though, and I know like Gerardo Rivera kind of helped. It wasn't just him, and like Kate McAdams, whatever her name was. Anyway, so they broke the story. If you can hear that beeping in the background of the truck backing up, you'll probably know, like, I'm so fucking irritated. So, Spotlight happened. It was this news report about Catholics just being naughty people. And so, they found out that, Catholic priests were being moved, church. I am wholly opposed to, like, these being holy. I mean, like I'm like a whole, like, I can't believe I ate the whole thing, and I said holy, and I just realized I made a pun, because, right, we're holy, it's the eat the holy sacrament. So anyway, so they found out that these cases went all the way back to wherever the Pope lives. I'd assume, like, in the Alps, and so Pope Benedict then got removed, but it's a good thing that Pope Francis took over, He seems pretty cool. I would have a beer with him anytime. He seems like the type of guy that would, you'd go to the mechanic and he'd be the one behind the desk who's not the mechanic, but like the one that's like really friendly, and he probably will say like, I got a good deal for you because I like you. He's the type of guy that, that you guys understand that. Anyway, so Pope Benedict got impeached, and that's why I said he was the Pope and no longer is. He is probably living in isolation somewhere in Switzerland. So, feel a burp coming, bear with me. Oh, God. Moving on to number 3. I'll do a recap really quickly. Can you guys hear that shaking? It sounds like there's a fucking earthquake. You guys are probably thinking that Jared Copeland's house is falling apart, but no, it's just like a dump truck crashing. It's like a destruction derby next door with like heavy machinery, and it's just like chalkboard, or the nails on chalkboard. Recap. Sorry, I hit my desk. I'm sorry. It's not even a desk. It's just my bed. I was trying to sound impressive. Anyway, 10 Barack Obama, 9 George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, George Washington, Donald Trump, Harvey Weinstein, Pope Benedict. Number 3 is Abe Lincoln. So, when Abe Lincoln took office, he caused the Civil War to happen. I like Abe Lincoln. He's like the president that was impeached that should not have been impeached. He's kind of like a martyr for American history. And, that's why they put him on the $5 bill, and they put George Washington on the $1 bill, because he's worth more. He's a very, worthful American. Is that the opposite of worthless? Anyway, so he got elected, and he caused the Civil War because he didn't want slaves anymore. His platform was probably, we're gonna end slavery, or if you don't like it, we're going to go to war. That kind of sounds like, I know I have a lot of libertarian friends that, they say like, oh, Abe Lincoln, he's a classic, American hero, but I'm like, if that's his belief, he's telling us to limit government. Anyway, what was I? Okay, George Abe Lincoln, he was president. I already said that. Slavery. So he wanted to end slavery, and he did. And then the South, they wanted their slaves, on their peanut plantations and stuff like that, because they're too fat and lazy to work the plantations themselves, and so they wanted their slaves. So Abe Lincoln, thank God he put his foot down when he did and the way he did. So he put his foot down, and that's when, like, I don't remember history, like I said, but Congress did not like this, and that's when he got impeached, plain and simple. Okay, so here's the sad part. So he was removed from office in 1865, and that's when the next guy took over, and that would be Johnson. It's not Lyndon Johnson. Was it? Was it Lyndon? Okay, anyway, so Johnson, I'll just say Johnson for right now, I don't remember his first name. He took over, and it's like, we don't remember Andrew Johnson's legacy, because, Abe Lincoln was just too good for America. So like I said, that's why he's a martyr, is because he was removed from office for doing good. And if Trump had been impeached for like saving a baby, then I would take a clear side and say like, well, he saved a baby, so we should, be on Trump's side. But like I said, I haven't researched it, so I'm going to have to research it. And if it's for a good reason, kind of like ending slavery, or like, trying to, kind of like if there's like a man with a mustache tying a woman to train tracks, and he was trying to save her, and that's what he did, and he got impeached for it, then okay, what am I talking about? Anyway, Abe Lincoln, plain and simple, he's, that's moving on. Okay. So, number two. Sorry, I forgot. I just remembered right now I should be laughing, to make myself seem more. What the fucking asshole. Anyway. Sorry, the construction crew is still going at it. Mr. Parker, if you're listening, I'm sorry that, my dog mauled on your daughter's face. I'm trying to get the fucking money together, okay? And I'm sorry I said fucking. I'm trying to get the money together, so that way, I can pay. Okay. Oh, and as soon as I start complaining, that's when the construction fucking stops. So anyway, I need to laugh more because I remembered I was reading my list, and number two, the most impeached the number two president that was impeached was you, the viewer. So I might make it a running gag that you, the viewer, are number two, and I'm gonna keep plugging it in that you need to like and subscribe. So there could be validity to you, the viewer, being number two, because you might be president one day, and you might fuck up. So yeah. So it's not entirely a stupid thing. Bernie Madoff. If you're not Bernie Madoff, Bernie Sanders, and Pete Buttigieg, or those other candidates. If you're listening to this, and you're number two, and you're not liked and subscribed, I'm not supporting their impeachment at all, and maybe they might do good, maybe not. So anyway, you, the viewer, are the number two most top impeached. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Oh God. Okay, so I should do honorable mentions. But I didn't really do a lot of research. So how about I just do honorable mentions, because there's only so many presidents that have been impeached. I'll just do people that were kicked out of their businesses, because that's kind of like impeachment. So how about honorable mention to Socrates for being kicked out of the Church of Philosophy, because the Greeks were saying, "Can you not teach my kids philosophy?" And then he kept teaching them philosophy, so they quote unquote impeached him, and made him kill himself. They doxed him. How about that? How about that for your impeachment? Doxing Socrates. Who else got? Okay, and I guess it could have been on the same vein as Weinstein, but Louis C.K. was kind of kicked out of comedy because he liked to masturbate. But Pee Wee Herman wasn't, which is kind of weird. But I like Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman's human, but Louis C.K. he's kind of strikes me as he looks like that guy from Mad Money, or that one show where he tells everyone to invest. Wonder if that guy's been impeached. Anyway, so Socrates and CK. I hope that the construction company next door gets impeached the fuck out of the neighborhood, so that way I can keep on recording this without having to hear the constant clanging and banging of heavy machinery trying to build a goddamn swimming pool in December that won't be used until, I don't know, September. That's when it gets hot for some reason. How about, maybe that's the fall of global warming. Maybe we should just impeach oil. How about that? How about we don't impeach people, we impeach products that are ruining the world. So yeah, here's my political stance. Just oil. Exxon Valdez, you spilled oil in Alaska before, so I hope you get impeached, piece of shit. Anyway, maybe God impeached the dinosaurs with a frickin' meteorite, and that's what. Okay, I'm just gonna calm down. Everyone, take a deep breath with me. 1, 2 and 3, I'll move on. Okay, so here's my recap. Number 10, fucking Barack Obama. Number 9, fucking George H.W. Bush. Number 8, fucking Jimmy Carter. I'm gonna calm down. 7, George Washington. 6, Donald Trump. 5, Harvey Weinstein. 4, Pope Benedict. 3, Abe Lincoln. 2, you the viewer. And then just like and subscribe. You get the fucking idea. Anyway, number 1. I choose number 1 because it's incredibly personal to me. Number 1 is Kyle Verdkin from my high school robotics club. So, and this one, I don't have to go on Wikipedia to research because, I was there when it all happened. So, so this is my junior year, and I was in the robotics club, and, it was kind of like, if you've ever seen, like, the show BattleBots or whatever. And, Kyle was a senior who had been doing this for, like, for, like, 3 years. So he naturally was the person that was voted president of the robotics club. So, it was Sadie Hawkins. For those of you that were never asked to Sadie Hawkins, like me, then you'll know that it's the dance that the girls asked the guys to. And Kyle, much like me, was not asked. He still showed up though, but when I say showed up, he was on campus, but not at the dance, because the dance was at the school. And if you catch my drift, you can kind of see where this is going. He and 2 buddies, I don't remember their names because they were years older than me. They brought beer, and they were on the rooftop where the dance was, and they were drinking beer and shooting the shit. And for some reason, Kyle always has the bright idea to carry a pocket knife on him at all times. He did not use it. He just was carrying it. And then I guess the janitor saw them, and they tried to run, but they got cornered by one of the security guards. So they found the beer on them, but then they found the pocket knife on Kyle. So, and his buddies were like suspended for like 3 days each, but Kyle got suspended for like a whole week. He could have been expelled, but he confessed that he just always he was a Boy Scout, and he had like the people to back him up that said he was a Boy Scout. He just naturally always has the knife. The beer, he admitted to it, and he had to like write an essay about why children shouldn't drink beer. And naturally he got kicked out of robotics. He got kicked out of the club, and it was a shame because the person that took over, Felix, he wasn't as creative. I'd trust Kyle to be the type of guy that puts like a flamethrower on his robot, and Felix is the type of guy that would try to just do something kind of stupid, like try to make it like a mousetrap, but it's not fun. So anyway, Kyle, if you hear this, you were one of the good ones. You're just like Abe Lincoln. You were a martyr. And to the construction crew next door, shut the fuck up for once. And you know what? Anyway, I'm just gonna re-edit this or just pay someone. I'll probably pay someone to edit it. That's what I did last episode. And there they go again, just backing up. So, support my channel. Like I said earlier, if I can get 1 million subscribers by the end of the month, that'll be cool. I'm gonna start up a Patreon pretty soon, and I expect we'll probably set it up like $1 a month. I'll give you a shout out. $3 a month, I will give you a shout out, and I'll let you write a joke, and I will say it in the episode or something. $5, probably get a tattoo of you or something. So yeah, I'll do that. Anyway, if you have any ideas, let me know. If you're a construction worker, you can go fuck yourself. Okay, thank you very much. You guys have a good night, good morning, good night, Copeland. There.